Hi, welcome to your 7th week of Environmental Biology Online. We're going to look at climate, biomes, and climate change. And the Critcher book introduces all of those topics, so I suggest you start with that, chapter 11. And so he'll talk about climate and how topography, elevation, and latitude all influence climate and hence influence what lives in those different areas. So those are biomes. So a biome is just a collection of organisms that live together in a particular area, and they're all adapted to that climate. They're all adapted to the temperature and moisture patterns in that particular area. Later in the chapter, he talks about climate change. And climate change is a really big topic these days, and it's somewhat controversial. Although the science about climate change is pretty clear. So reading the Simutext chapter will help you see the science behind climate change. It'll explain how we have come to these conclusions. It'll show the data that shows us that climate actually is changing, the planet actually is warming. So when you read the Simutext chapter, really think about the process of science. See if you can pick out the questions that they're asking in each section, the hypothesis or the hypotheses that they create about those questions, the tests that they perform in order to figure out if their hypotheses are correct or not, what kind of data are collected, and then how is that data used to formulate conclusions. So I hope you enjoyed that chapter. I found it to be a really clear, direct way of explaining what climate change is and then what effects climate change is going to have on the ecosystem. And so I hope you enjoy that too. In our discussion this week, I'm really just opening it up for you to talk about whatever is on your mind. So I've listed some concepts from the chapter, there's questions from the Critcher book. You can answer any of those, or you can just write about what you are understanding about climate change and how it's connecting to the readings that we're working with this week. So make 2 posts in the discussion. You can make them at any time during the week. I actually am not going to have a deadline for you this week. And you don't have to reply to anybody, although replying will help us have discussion, which I think is what makes the discussion board so interesting and useful. So that's up to you, but please make sure your posts are substantial, that they're using the concepts that we're learning about biomes, about climate change, that they're asking questions, that they're making connections. Okay, so I'm sorry to mix the discussion board up on you again. But I think it's an effective format for this particular topic. Okay, you're probably also working on your home base. So the home base is looking at nutrients. And so continue with your nutrients home base, looking at how nutrients are cycling in ecosystems. And I think you're going to do a great job with it. The discussion this week was amazing. I loved everything people are posting. It's really, really being thoughtful. So I think you're going to be able to find nutrient cycling at your home base. Good luck with that. And then there's no lab and no quiz that are required, but there's a quiz and a lab that are extra credit. So this is about midterm, it's week 7, and I'm going to be writing midterm evaluations for you. Perhaps you filled out the midterm evaluation for me. I'll be looking at that. And I'm offering some extra credit in case you're feeling like you want to boost your grade or it just sounds like fun. So there's a biomes quiz, which is extra credit. I've given some information. If you want to find out more about biomes, you can look at those websites. But everything you need to know for the quiz is actually in Critcher's book. So if you read the book, you should be fine for the quiz. Remember, it's extra credit, so it's not required at all, but you could do it if it would be fun for you. Then the other thing is this sort of lab activity that I put together, and it's part of this project called New England Leaf Out. And New England Leaf Out is an attempt to keep track of when particular trees are opening their leaves, opening their flowers. And you can participate in this. All you have to do is find a tree that's on their list, and there's about 10 trees on the list, and you just have to monitor it this spring and pay attention to when the leaves are coming out. And when you first notice the first little bud burst, you can go to their website and record that information. So I encourage you to sign up. The more citizen scientists we have, the better. Collecting a large amount of data is extremely important. So maybe you'd like to participate in that. And to prepare for that, I'd like you to find a tree that you could watch and take some pictures of that tree and show me the features of that tree that will confirm your identification. And that's worth points. You can do up to 3 trees. Or you can just, if you want to just find If you want to just create a field guide about a particular tree, you can do that too. Use those trees on the list and find some identifying features of those. Or you can also do some graphs that look at these changes that we're seeing in the way plants and animals are responding to the climate. So those are some different options for you, and you can do things that add up to the number of points you'd like to earn. So that's it for the week. I hope you have a really good week, and keep working hard. You're doing great.